From Montreal, World Affairs Television Productions presents the Economist Business Challenge. This cross-border knowledge competition will feature the brightest students from North America's top business schools, combining questions drawn from The Economist and case studies presented by the world's leading CEOs, journalists, and politicians. The Economist Business Challenge will test the contenders' knowledge on international economics, politics, and business issues. And now, let's meet the challengers.
Hello, and welcome to the Economist Business Challenge. I'm your host, David Johnston. Today we conduct round 11 of this exciting competition where the top MBA students of North America's most prominent business schools meet and compete. This week we start with our quarterfinal rounds, and today we're joined by a team from Yale University and from the Rotman School at the University of Toronto. Prizes in the competition are courtesy of The Economist magazine. First place team receives a $3,000 scholarship, the second place team a $1,000 scholarship, and the student who wins the most valuable player award receives $1,000. This prize is given to the competitor whose performance distinguishes him or her as an outstanding contributor to the team and to the game. Finally, the individual who demonstrates the greatest team spirit will be awarded the Sportsmanship Award. All participants receive a free subscription to The Economist magazine. Now, the format of the competition. Business Challenge starts with a round of short questions provided by The Economist. The questions focus on international news, economics, business, and culture. Right answers are worth 10 points. Incorrect answers are penalized by 10 points. Once a team buzzes in, it must answer the question immediately or forfeit the question to the opposing team and incur a 10-point penalty. Part 2 is the problem-solving segment of the competition. As was the case in the first rounds of the competition, contestants receive a business case question to which they must find creative solutions. However, in this round, each university will be judged on the same question rather than separate cases. We conclude each competition with a final round of questions, again worth 10 points. Today's case study presenters are Patrick Basham, Senior Fellow at the Cato Institute, and presiding over the competition, we have 3 distinguished judges: the Honorable Canadian Senator Serge Royal, Dr. Barbara Miras, Executive Vice President of Davenport University, and Mr. Humphrey Rolliston, Research and Promotions Director of The Economist magazine. So, if everyone's ready, let's begin the competition with our first question. Which airline decided not to buy the 40% stake in Air India that the government wanted to sell? Which airline decided not to buy the 40% stake in Air India that the government wanted to sell? This airline is geographically located fairly close to India, in that part of the world at least. It's a very well-known, very large airline from a very small country. To the right. Singapore Airlines. What is Sweden's currency? To the left, please. Going once, twice, 3 times. No answer. Over to the right, so that's a fault.
The krona?
The krona is correct. Where does the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas hold its annual symposium? It's a bit obscure, and the community is a bit obscure, and the state, in fact, is certainly one of the least populated states in the United States. I'll give you the state, but it's the town. We're looking for the city. The state is Wyoming, with a very interesting town name. The town name, it's Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Who is the founder of the Vanguard Group, America's second largest mutual fund firm? The founder of the Vanguard Group, America's second largest mutual fund firm. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. It's Jack Bogle. Jack Bogle. Which firm admitted in September 2000 that it had spied upon a competitor's hair care business? Which firm admitted in September 2000? To the right, please.
Procter & Gamble.
That is correct. Who is the chosen successor to Volkswagen's chairman, Ferdinand Piëch, when he retires in the spring of 2002? Who's the successor? The chosen successor. It's a German name. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. It's Bernd Piëchstrider. Which firm had Bernd Piëchstrider led before being ousted in 1999? To the right, please.
BMW.
BMW would be correct. What is the name of Sweden's stock market index? Looking for 3 letters here. What is the name of Sweden's stock market index? I presume the letters are the acronym for Swedish stock market index. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. It's OMX. OMX. What is the name of GM's subsidiary in Germany? To the right, please.
Opel.
Yes, my extra clue there was some would say it is a gem, although not always from a business point of view. Which car company owns the Seat, SEAT, and Skoda brands in Europe? To the right, please. Volkswagen. Which Dutch firm owns both AC Nielsen and Nielsen Media Research? Which Dutch firm owns both AC Nielsen and Nielsen Media Research? Again, it's an acronym of 3 letters here. Which Dutch firm owns Nielsen and Nielsen Media Research? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. It's VNU, VNU. I don't know what that stands for. Which French media giant recently sold its health and business publishing division to British investment firm Cinven, C-I-N-V-E-N, the French media giant, also famous for the acquisition of a legendary Canadian company. Which Canadian company diversified its products from a good to the left, please? Vivendi Universal, that's correct. Acquired Seagram's. Vivendi Universal is the correct answer. Who is the CEO of Fiat? Who is the CEO? To the left, please?
Agnelli.
That's incorrect. To the right, please? Who is the CEO of Fiat? One would have thought it's an Agnelli. Certainly the Agnelli family control it, but it's a non-Agnelli. To the right, going once, going twice, going 3 times. It's Paola Cantarella. Paola Cantarella. Which investment bank was spun off from American Express in 1994? To the right, please. Lehman. Where was the International Tribunal set up to try former Yugoslavia? To the right, please. The Hague, correct. To try former Yugoslavian President Slobodan Milosevic. What organization, till then an environmental activist organization, invaded an Air Force base in Britain? To the left, please.
Greenpeace.
Greenpeace, a colorful name. The EU sponsored a meeting of Caspian states and Azerbaijan to introduce measures to reduce the decline of what fish?
Sturgeon.
Sturgeon, which produces caviar. What are East Asia's 2 biggest export markets? What are East Asia's 2 biggest export markets? In a sense, it's obvious, the answer to this question. In fact, I believe they're the 2 largest economies in the world. To the left, please.
North America, United States, and Europe.
Say that again.
United States and the EU.
That is incorrect. To the right, please. I'm going to eliminate that question right now because, in a sense, that answer is correct. Except in one case, you've given a region, in the other case, you've given a country. The answer here is Japan and America. I'm going to eliminate the question altogether because I think the answer is certainly partly correct and maybe totally correct, and the fairest way is just to eliminate it. What is the development plan submitted this summer at the Organization of African Unity that stated, quote, Africa recognizes that it holds the key to its own development, unquote. Africa recognizes that it holds the key to its own development. The development plan, and its reference is to the time in a very, very broad sense. Reference to time. Yes, to the left, please.
Millennium Plan.
That's correct. The Millennium Action Plan, right on. What is the political front of the Irish Republican Army? To the left, please.
Same thing.
That's correct. Sinn Féin. Who is the president of Sinn Féin? To the left, please. Correct. .NET is the embryonic internet platform being developed by what company? To the right, please.
Microsoft.
Correct. 2 years ago, the National Park Service in the United States decided that it would phase out the use of what transportation device? To the right, please.
Snowmobile.
Correct. In 27 parks, prompting the manufacturer of the vehicle to appeal the decision. Only 1 in every 8 people who flipped through the pages of this sort of publication on the way to the checkout counter actually bothered to buy one. To the right, please.
Magazines.
Magazine's incorrect. It's a more specific name I'm looking for than that. I'll finish the question. What is the name given to these publications, which are often mistrusted due to their history of reporting such things as the latest sightings of Elvis?
Tabloids.
Right on, tabloids. What crop, which has been trumped by nickel mining and tourism, once dominated the Cuban landscape? What crop? To the left, please. Sugar. What did Jiang Zemin write this summer in which he describes his, quote, random thoughts on climbing Hunshan, I presume a mountain, unquote, and which will be reproduced to the left, please? He wrote a poem in which he reproduced in textbooks to arouse the patriotic ardor of students and the respect for great men. We hope great women as well. What country, once a Portuguese colony, received, to the left, please? Incorrect. I'll finish the question. Received independence 2 years ago and is now vying for offshore oil and gas assets with Indonesia and Australia. To the right, please.
East Timor.
East Timor is correct. After they were proposed by America and Britain, Russia threatened to veto so-called smart sanctions on what country? After they were proposed, to the left, please. Iraq is correct. What group, which includes not only Hamas and Islamic Jihad, but also, to the left, please?
PLO.
That's incorrect. I'll finish the question and go to the right. accused Colin Powell of showing, quote, complete bias, unquote, to Israel over the ceasefire brokered by George Tenet, the chief of the CIA, and suggested that it was necessary to send the Intifada across their immediate borders. What is the name, please, to the right? Going once, going twice, going three times. It's a little hard. It's the National and Islamic Forces. The National and Islamic Forces. In what country do the Dutch-speaking Flemings and French-speaking Walloons cohabitate? To the left, please. Correct. Who is Russia's prime minister? To the left, please. That's correct. What country, with its 58 million people, is the world's sixth biggest economy behind the U.S., Japan, Germany, Britain, and France? To the right, please.
Italy.
Correct. What Italian leader has the... We've run out of time. And our score. Up to this point in time, if our dancing teleprompter can stop dancing, and it has, is Yale 120, the Rotman School 70. So with that done, it's now time for the case study portion. In this, the first round of competition, each school was given 3 hours to prepare an answer to the case study problem. Now in the quarterfinals, the time is decreased to 1 hour. In the semifinals, the time reduces to 15 minutes. In the finals, contestants have only 1 minute of preparation. Each team is awarded a mark out of a total of 225, and each judge has a maximum 75 points to allocate. And joining us now with the case study question is Patrick Basham, Senior Fellow at the Cato Institute.
Recently, corporate risk analysis has come to the forefront in regulation and business. It is an economically driven process of weighing the expected losses that will occur if a safety improvement is not undertaken compared to the total cost of solving the defect. Much of society sees such systematic analysis of human life and profit as wrong and cold-blooded, which has led to an increased level of punitive damages awards to plaintiffs. Additionally, the higher a company values a human life in its analysis, the more money has been awarded to plaintiffs. In the 1990s, both Chrysler and General Motors were hit with astronomical punitive damage awards against them. In each of these cases, the company performed a risk analysis on the defect and found that the probability of injury or death multiplied by the probable punitive damage award did not outweigh the cost of replacing all of the defects. Companies use risk analysis in order to make decisions in line with the preferences of consumers. Corporations have to decide whether consumers would rather pay a higher price for the additional safety precautions taken or accept an increased level of risk for a lower ticket price. This has proven to be quite a difficult and controversial task for most companies. 3 questions. Question 1, if the cost of fixing the defect exceeds the benefits, should the company be able to be found negligent in failing to adopt the safety measure or guilty of reckless behavior that will allow punitive damages? Second question, should the government thoroughly inspect every product put out on the market, or should consumers continue to make their own cost versus risk assessment? And finally, what do you see as the possible costs or benefits of juries imposing larger punitive damages on companies who used a human life risk analysis? Since punitive damages have been historically high when corporations undertake a risk analysis, should corporations continue to take such measures?
Our friend from Yale, please.
The potential benefits of human life risk analysis will be lost unless this issue of punitive damage awards is addressed. Discouraging companies from doing this analysis will do nothing to help prevent injuries and death. In fact, companies can only make poor decisions absent the relevant information regarding product design trade-offs that human life risk analysis can provide. The key point in this debate is that ultimately the consumers and society at large will pay for the injuries and deaths associated with product safety problems. This is true whether we pay in the form of higher prices for more robustly designed and manufactured products, or through the cost of lawsuits and damages that producers will ultimately pass through to consumers. As long as companies are penalized for doing human life risk analysis, we are implicitly choosing to pay for product safety in the form of lawsuits, pain and suffering, and damages, rather than through informed decision-making and explicitly defined and debated trade-offs. We are arguing that there is a better way to handle product safety than through tort. Companies will continue to be punished for adopting this analytical technique as long as they do it individually and strictly within their own walls. While we do not believe that government should inspect every product for safety, we do believe that there's a role for government in facilitating the development and adoption of common industry standards. Bringing transparency and open debate to human life risk analysis is the only way it can be advanced and its benefits realized. Industry-wide standards will help society deal with this issue in an efficient manner. It is a society-wide issue and should be debated and resolved at that level, rather than being left to the vagaries of jury decisions on individual cases against particular companies. Our argument is supported by the Screeching to a Halt article in the May 26th issue of The Economist. This article documents the enormous financial costs and the loss of consumer confidence associated with the Ford Explorer Firestone tire debacle. This underlines the need for common standards. Government must facilitate discussions between consumers, industry groups, and other stakeholders so that society as a whole can establish guidelines in the trade-off between product safety and higher prices.
Thank you very much, Yale. We turn to our friends from Rotman for advice, please.
In very few instances do markets behave efficiently. In many cases, information is imperfect, whereby one individual in the exchange is better informed and has an incentive to take advantage of the other. These instances of market failure are pervasive in almost all markets. In some cases, this market failure can lead to a loss of human life. The cost of human life cannot be put easily into monetary terms. Companies, however, have made efforts to investigate and measure these risks when making decisions regarding safety measures. We believe that companies that have knowledge of product risks and do not adopt the necessary safety measures should be found negligent for 3 reasons. First, firms have a corporate responsibility to society beyond their bottom line. We have seen this in the Ford Explorer case. Second, independent government agencies have set up standards of corporate governance that are publicly disclosed to force companies to take necessary safety measures. Failure to abide by these standards should be penalized. From a financial standpoint, firms also have a responsibility to their shareholders to be aware of such risks to the effect that ignoring these risks may threaten future profitability. Due to these factors, we feel that firms that do not adopt safety measures should be penalized. We believe that the government has a clear role to step in where market failure exists. However, we don't think the government should thoroughly inspect every product due to the administrative impossibilities and costs. Government should, however, play an active role in setting minimum standards to allow for full public awareness. Moreover, they should create the laws and institutions to investigate and persecute instances of corporate negligence. If the government does this properly, customers will have access to all information and, with this information, can make their own risk assessment decisions. With respect to the third question, we believe the key benefit of imposing punitive damages is that you send a clear and strong messages to corporations that they are responsible for customer safety. There are costs to this approach, however. Firms that take the responsibility to investigate safety hazards should not be penalized to the extent that this may produce incentives to turn a blind eye to potential threats. For example, should a drunk driver who knows they're over the limit and deliberately drives be punished more than a drunk driver who does not know they're over the limits? We believe that in this case, firms should be punished equally. That said, we believe all firms should perform this risk analysis. First, there are benefits. It brings attention to the importance of safety measures. Second, it provides a benchmark for companies to follow. However, we believe that the cost of risk assessment should not only include the cost of human life, but also the cost of a damaged reputation, which will jeopardize shareholder support and customer confidence. Human life cannot be put in monetary terms, but all efforts should be made to minimize the potential for human life. The responsibility to preserve human life is a partnership between the company, the government, and the informed consumer.
Thank you very much, Rotman, for your advice. We now move to the final section of the show. Once again, short questions worth 10 points each. The first question is, what Italian leader has the nickname Il Cavaliere, which stands for the knight? What Italian leader has the nickname Il Cavaliere, perhaps I pronounce it incorrectly, which stands for the knight? He's also very wealthy. The right place?
Berlusconi?
Again?
Berlusconi?
Correct. What country is known as the least transparent in the G7 group of rich countries in terms of its business practice? To the right,
Italy?
please. Italy. What British tennis tournament, though its American counterpart to the left, please?
Wimbledon?
Correct. U.S. Open makes 118 million, only draws in 42.2 million Wimbledon. In what country did 610 million passengers travel by air last year? To the right, please.
United States.
That is correct. Who is Jack Welch's successor? To the left.
Jeff Immelt?
That is correct. What company owns Netscape? To the right.
AOL Time Warner.
Correct. With what Russian gas giant is Itera? To the right, please.
Lukoil?
Again?
Lukoil.
Incorrect. Is Itera a Florida-based company a partner? To the left, please. What Russian gas giant is Itera a Florida-based company a partner? Going once. To the left, please.
Gazprom.
That is correct. Gerson Lehman, or Lehrman, a company that initially intended to publish books about how dynamic industries such as telecoms and pharmaceuticals function, now specializes in what? In what area? What is the area of specialization? Going once, going twice, going three times. It's investment research. What is the name of the world's largest paper company? What is the name of the world's largest paper company? In fact, it takes its name from the scope of its activities. Yes, to the right.
International paper.
That is correct. What is the name of China's leading computer company? To the left. Correct. Who is Japan's main mobile phone operator? To the left, please. That's correct. Docomo. NTT Docomo. That's an acceptable answer. What was the name of the district judge who oversaw the breakup of AT&T in the 1980s? To the right, please.
Green.
Judge Harold Green. What is the name of the judge appointed to replace Thomas Penfield Jackson in the U.S. Department of Justice case against Microsoft? Distinguished Lady Justice. Going once. It's a double name, a hyphenated name. Both initials K. Going once, going twice, going three times. Justice Kohler Cotali. Kohler Cotali. What is the name of OPEC's Secretary General? Who is OPEC's Secretary General? It's a Spanish name. Going once, I think it's Spanish. Going once, going twice, going three times. It's Ali Rodriguez. Ali Rodriguez. Who is the CEO of German airline Lufthansa? Who is the CEO of German airline Lufthansa? Going once, going twice, going three times. It's Jürgen Weber. Jürgen Weber. Which French-Italian electrical goods manufacturer is now under bankruptcy court protections? The right? Moulinex Brown. What is the name of Spain's biggest winemaker? What is the name of Spain's biggest winemaker? The initials are B and B, but I'm looking for the full name. Each name begins with a B. Going once, going twice, going three times. It's Bodegas and Bebidas. Bodegas and Bebidas. What is the primary business of the Anglo-Dutch group Coras? What is the primary business of the Anglo-Dutch group Coras? It's, I guess we call it an old industry or an old-fashioned industry or a smokestack industry. And very basic. Going once, going twice, going three times. It's steel making. Who is the CEO of luxury goods company LVMH? To the left, please. Arnault is correct. Bernard Arnault. Which company has won a controlling stake in Gucci? Which company has won a controlling stake in Gucci? The answer here is a three-part name. There are three actual names in this. They spell out PPR. Going once, going twice, going three times. Pinot, Printemps, and Redoute. Pinot, Printemps, et Redoute. What is the name of Germany's blue chip index, stock index? The left, please. The DAX 30. I'll take DAX, that's fine. What is the name of France's blue chip index? The right, please.
CAC 40.
CAC 40. What is the name of the broad stock index in Japan? It's not the obvious name. To the left, please. That is incorrect. To the right, please.
Topics.
Topics is correct. What is the other name for text messaging? What is the other name for text messaging? I think it gives me a time to show my BlackBerry RIM, which I think, in fact, is text messaging. Yes, to the right, please.
Short message system.
That's correct. Short message service. I'll accept that. SMS. What is a series of 5-day matches of cricket between England and Australia called? Very poetic name in a way. To the left, please. The Ashes. What is the process of packaging two or more products together and selling them? To the left, please. Bundling. What city has a Washington Irving term as well? What city has the highest cost of living according to the Economist Intelligent Unit, a sister organization of the Economist? The city with the highest cost of living in the world. Still the case, I think, although it probably has been diminished a little bit in the last little while. That's a clue. To the right.
Tokyo.
That is correct. A Saudi dissident and already the most wanted man in America. To the left, please.
Bin Laden.
That is correct. And I think with that answer, we have completed this end of the competition. Now let's learn a little bit more about our participants today. We'll start with the team from Yale. John, you came some distance to Yale. Where did you come from?
I come from Portugal, from the city of Porto.
And what brought you to Yale?
I think the name of the university says it all. I wanted to come to a big university in the United States, so I chose Yale.
Right. And Larry, what drew you to Yale?
I was attracted by the nonprofit management strength at the MBA program.
Right. And that really has been a theme and a characteristic of the Yale School of Management for a long time, hasn't it? At the
Yes,
breadth.
although finance has become increasingly strong of late.
Right. Jim, what brought you from Canada to Yale?
The diversity of students. It really is a place where I can feel really comfortable. I come from a not-for-profit background as well.
It's a wonderful phrase from Saint-Exupéry's Le Petit Prince. It goes, I am different from you, but because I am different, I do not diminish you, I enrich in you. And I'm sure you found that just dramatically in the case of Yale.
Very much.
Yeah. Let's turn to our friends from the Rotman School. David, your background is a bit international.
Yes, I'm actually from Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong. What drew you to Rotman?
I'm Canadian, so I chose to return back to Canada.
Uh-huh.
But it's a great program. We're able to tailor our sort of courses and learning as we like.
Wonderful. Adam, what drew you to the Rotman School?
I like the smallness of the program. There was 120 people in our class,
Right.
and it was close to the girlfriend and the family.
Well, that helps, eh? Yeah. The smallness is important, isn't it? How are your classes conducted? Do you have a number of classes with a group of 120 and then other sections that break you up into?
Well, there's two sections. In each section, it's 60 in each.
Right.
And it's a very close and collegial class.
You get to know them pretty well, don't you?
Mhm.
Teresa, what took you to Rotman?
I guess it's expertise and strength in finance.
Yes.
That was a career I was interested in pursuing,
Uh-huh.
and it's the premier school, I think, for that.
Wonderful. Did you do finance before you came to Rotman?
My background is actually as an economist.
Uh-huh.
So.
Good. Well, good luck to all of you, to the three here and the three over here. Our judges have finished their calculations. We can announce the winner of this quarterfinal round of the Business Challenge. The score is Yale, 425, Rotman School, Toronto, 350, and our winner is our friends from Yale. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to the team from Rotman for a very, very good competition. To our audience and viewers, thank you so much for watching this show. Stay tuned for next week's program when the University of Western Ontario, the Ivy School, meets the York University Schulich School, a classic confrontation between these two great schools for Business Challenge. And keep up with the world through the pages of The Economist. On behalf of all of us at World Affairs Television Productions, we wish you all a good week. Until next time, thank you.
Major funding for the Economist Business Challenge was provided by The Economist, the weekly international news and business publication of choice worldwide. Additional support provided by the Export Development Corporation, providing trade finance and risk management services to Canadian exporters and investors in up to 200 markets. Via Rail Canada. The City of Plattsburgh, New York's Community Development Office, your gateway to the U.S. market. Inisqualin Wines, one of the world's great wines. The Chateau Hotel Versailles, a full-service boutique hotel in downtown Montreal that caters to the most discerning of travelers. And World Affairs Television Productions Incorporated,